This last week, I used AI to automate part of my own real estate business. Now, before you check out, this story relates directly to you and the property you own here in the Phoenix area. So stay with me. There is a point. I am not a big company, just me, my team, and some software. As a business, this automation I created reduced our time investment in my business by just over 5 hours a week. Not a lot, but watch how this extrapolates. Now, instead of having to pay someone approximately $25 an hour for that same task, I now get that task completely free. Yay! But think about what that really means on a bigger scale. As it relates to you, I'm small, a speck of dust compared to a Fortune 500 company. One guy running a real estate business here in the Phoenix metropolitan area. And even me, a babe in the woods when it comes to using artificial intelligence, could figure out how to implement AI to reduce my labor costs by 5 hours, easily $600 a month. And oh, by the way, it took me all of about 2 weeks to figure it out. And looking back, could have done it in probably an afternoon. So here's the question that should keep you up at night. If a small business like mine can do this, what do you think the giant companies are thinking about right now? I mean, let's extrapolate. I save 5 man hours a week. What if my business was 1,000 times bigger than it is, with 1,000 times more employees? Maybe a lot like a Fortune 500 company. Well, let's do some math. If we really want to extrapolate, that company saves 5 hours times 1,000 every week. That's 5,000 man hours a week. For the month, we multiply 5,000 by 4.33, the number of weeks in a month, for a grand total of 21,650 man hours saved every month. Great for the company, not so great for a bunch of employees. The average employee works approximately 173 hours a month. Let's divide the number of man hours saved by the number of hours worked by the average employee at this company. Approximately 125. What does 125 represent? It's the number of people who just got laid off. Now, for a company with 5,000 employees, that's not a whole lot, but it happened with one simple automation even a technical moron like me figured out in almost no time. If that doesn't give you pause, I don't know what will. I'm telling you this as a warning to be very careful moving forward. We are in the beginning stages of God only knows what. If you own property here but live somewhere else, you're probably thinking about this place as a long-term investment. Not what it's worth today, but what will it be worth in 3, 5, maybe 10 years? And here's the truth. Home prices in any area are mostly driven by one thing: jobs. If people have good jobs and steady paychecks, they can afford homes and prices hold up or grow. If a lot of jobs disappear, fewer people can afford to buy and prices struggle, maybe even drop precipitously. So the real question for your property isn't about AI in general, it's about jobs. What is AI about to do to jobs in the next 3 to 5 years? Let's look at the numbers. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Right now, we are in the wild west of AI. Nobody fully knows what's going to happen next. Not the experts, not the government, not even the companies building it. It's moving faster than anyone can track. I used it to cut my own labor costs by, maybe 8%, and just a week, 2 weeks? What happens when a company with $1 billion budget and thousands of engineers decides to do the same thing, but at full speed? This isn't science fiction, it's already showing up in the numbers. Some of the biggest researchers in the world say that by the year 2030, tens of millions of jobs around the world could be wiped out by this new technology. Yes, they say new jobs will get created too, but that still leaves a lot of regular people caught in the middle of that change. Some of the biggest banks and research firms in the world have run their own numbers. Their estimates range from a small slice of the American worker losing their jobs to AI, up to nearly a third of all work hours in America being done by machines by 2030. I'll read that again. Up to a third of work. That's not a small dent, that's a third of the workday, possibly handed over to a machine. Now here's the part that matters. It's not spread out evenly. The jobs growing the fastest are tech and AI jobs, plus hands-on physical work like construction and skilled trades. work a robot can't easily do. The jobs shrinking the fastest are office jobs, desk jobs, the kind of steady, comfortable job a lot of families depend on. Think about your own neighborhood or the towns where you used to live. A town full of office jobs is more exposed to this. A town full of construction, trade, and tech jobs is more protected. That difference is going to show up in home prices over the next several years, town by town. Here's the good news for your Phoenix property and why I'm not telling you to panic, not just yet anyway. Phoenix is becoming one of the biggest computer chip manufacturing hubs in the entire country. One of the largest chip makers on earth is investing tens of billions of dollars here right now. That project alone is expected to create thousands of direct, high-paying factory jobs and tens of thousands of jobs once everything is fully built. And that company isn't alone. Over $100 billion combined, creating thousands more direct jobs. Now here's why it's such a big deal. You can't replace a factory worker building computer chips with a chatbot. That work has to happen in person, on the ground, right here. It's some of the most AI-resistant work there is, and it's landing in the Phoenix area at exactly the same time AI is shaking up office jobs everywhere, including here. So let's connect this back to your property. Some of the most respected names in housing forecast that home prices nationally could rise modestly between now and 2030, just a few percent a year. That's the national average. Steady, not explosive, but averages hide the real story. A place adding thousands of high-paying factory jobs like the Phoenix area right now tends to do better than the average over time because more good jobs mean more people who can afford to buy. A place losing office jobs to AI tends to fall behind that average. Nobody can promise you exactly the number for 2030. I can't, and nobody else will. But the real question for your property isn't what it's worth today. Is the property sitting inside one of the strongest job growth areas in the country? Or is it exposed to the kind of jobs AI is cutting first? Here's my bottom line. What I did in my own business is just a small preview. Big companies have far more money, far more tools, and far more reasons to push AI even harder. And they are moving fast. Nobody can tell you exactly where the job market lands 3 to 5 years from now. That's exactly why the next 3 to 5 years matters so much for the property you're holding here in the Phoenix area. The jobs in this market and the jobs AI is cutting and adding here and everywhere else are going to shape what this property's worth. If you want help thinking through where your property really stands for the next 3 to 5 years, not just today, contact me through my website or call me directly and we'll figure it out together.